Hello and welcome to what promises to be yet another thrilling instalment of action from weeks 4 and 5 of Divisions 5F and 5G of the REL League. I'm your host, Callisti Mayer, the Golden Apple of Discord. So we have a packed recap episode for you this week, mainly because I missed doing an episode last week. So this week, again, another bumper episode with all of the action from weeks 4 and 5. Before I start diving into the action, I just wanted to pass along some PSAs for news and events around Rebel that you might have missed. So yesterday, the Rebel Alliance podcast came back with a vengeance. So episode 33, I believe now. So Metal, Haringzord and Kejaruz were back in action, talking about the Rebel, talking about news around Blood Bowl. If you haven't checked out yet, definitely would. I am an avid listener. I listen to it on my morning commute and there and back to work. Perfect length because it's about 2 hours long. My commute is about 2 hours, so I love it. It beats listening to the radio. Get to hear some funny stories, get to learn about stuff that's happening in Rebel. Definitely, if you haven't checked it out already, I would definitely check it out. If you're like me, you like listening to people drone on about Blood Bowl. Some other upcoming events around Rebel. So this was actually covered yesterday in the Rebel Alliance podcast, so I'm a little bit of plagiarism here, but the Hugh Jackman Memorial Cup is coming up on December the 2nd. For those of you that don't know about it, it's just a one-day tourney. They sort of like to vary the times that it starts to match different time zones. And it's a fun one-day tourney that where the only stipulation, I believe, is that you must have a big guy on your team. There is a tournament, but there's also a lot to be gained by just trying to do crazy things with your big guy. In other news, Clan League Season 2 is starting soon. I believe that the registrations are going to be opening for that soon as well. I don't know much about the Clan League, and haven't been part of it, but I know that it's fast becoming a big fixture around Rebel. So the basic sort of tenets of it is that you form a clan with, I think, 4 or 5 different other coaches, and you play matches against other clans for sort of pride and glory amongst Rebel, and I think there's also a few clans from outside of Rebel. Last season's winners were the REL, and you'll probably have seen a number of coaches on Discord with their clan tags. There's a lot of pride that goes on, a lot of fun apparently. So if you're interested in knowing more, I don't have all the details, so I would probably reach out to an admin or maybe even one of the clan coaches just to find out a little bit more about it, see about how you could get onto a clan and or maybe even start your own, I don't know. Also, the 1 Minute League, lots of fun. I've advertised it before. Registrations are closing for that very, very soon, so if you were thinking about it, I definitely advise you to sort of take the plunge, get invested, create a team, have some fun. I think there's a lot of crazy teams in the 1 Minute League. The main purpose of it is to just have games that are sort of 45 minutes to an hour long, very, very quick games. It forces you to think quickly, it forces you to sort of be thinking a few moves ahead. It's going to help improve your skills, but it's also a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. I think the admin to contact for that is Purple Saber over in the Rebel. So just if you're interested, drop him a line, and I'm sure he'll be able to give you all the deets and show you how to sign up if it's not too late. Okay, so that covers sort of news and events. Now let's start by taking a look at the results for Division 5F. So we're going to be going to the schedule, and we're going to be going back. You're currently on week 6, so we're going to actually be going back to all the way back to week 4. So starting off week 4, we had Evil Fury versus the Oklahoma Sooners. I think Evil Fury is an admin team. Let me just check that. Yeah, Evil Fury is an admin team. Okay. And then so that was an automatic 1-0 win for the Oklahoma Sooners. So a nice break for the Orc team there. They get to rest and recuperate, recharge the batteries, and probably get fat and sit by the pool. And so yeah, they managed to get some SPP off of that. It's a gimme. Next we had Thrashcan versus the Harlem Globetrotters. That was a 1-0 win for the Thrashcan, the Nurgle team. That seems like an interesting game because the Harlem Globetrotters are a Dark Elf team, so obviously they couldn't get up to much elf bullshit. The Nurgle team just closed them down, got a 1-0 win. Then we had Baskin Robbins versus Rebel Rage Quit. So this is the Killer Chorf team versus the other Nurgle team in Division 5F, and Raskin Bobbins, coached by Shira, I believe, won that one 1-0. I also believe Rebel Rage Quit are doing quite well. I think both Raskin Bobbins and Rebel Rage Quit are doing quite well in the division right now. But we'll take a look in the leaderboard in just a second. Next we had Once Bitten Vampire team crushing the Goblin team, Happy Go Go, 3-0. So that was not unexpected. I think when you take a stunty team into sort of competitive league like this, you've got to expect that you're going to win the occasional game, you're going to get the occasional game, and you're going to lose a lot of games. But if you're playing a stunty team, as long as you're having fun, because that's what they're all about, then win, lose or draw, it really doesn't matter. You're just there to have fun with the Stunty team. And if you do get a win, it's extra bragging rights, because it's hard winning with the Stunty team. So Happy Go Go, they lost 3-0. That's a nice victory for the Vampire team. Then moving on, we had Murderers Row beating Flinging Fun. So that's another stunty team. Mr. Christie, I think, is the coach for the Flinging Fun, and they've been doing fairly well this season so far. So whilst it's another stunty team, as I just said, you don't expect to win every game as stunties. Mr. Christie might be a little bit disappointed with that result, but Murderers Row are a formidable team. I think they're also leading the division right now. So probably not unexpected, but still, I know that Flinging Fun, they have been doing okay, so they probably were hoping to draw or win, and Murderers Row were probably just expecting to win because they are currently the best team in the division. Then we had the Infectious Rippers, another admin team, and that was versus the Sylvania Slayers, another vampire team, and that was the automatic admin win, 1-0 for the Sylvania Slayers. Then we had the Cleveland Krakens versus Gambas Gals, and that was the Norse team versus the Amazon team, Gambas team, and the Norse team, the Cleveland Krakens, won that one 1-0. Moving on to day 5. Oh, hang on a second. So we had the Harlem Globetrotters, and they were the Harlem Globetrotters, and then we had the Harlem Globetrotters version 2. So what, did he just die? Let's have a look. He had just the one death. Interesting. So let's go back and Okay, I have absolutely no idea why the Harlem Globetrotters have re-rolled. I don't think they were that punished. I don't think they were that beleaguered and dead and dying that they necessitated a re-roll. I'll look into that and find out why and let you guys know. Anyway, so we have the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm getting muddled up now. Okay, so we had the Harlem Globetrotters version 2, so this is a fresh re-roll team, losing to the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia. Okay, so it's another new team. Okay, so so all seemed to be happening in week 5. We had a new team, we had a re-roll team. The new team kicked the re-roll team's ass 3-0. So that's a great start for the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia. That's a Kislev team. They won 3-0. Interesting. Then we had the Rebel Rage Quit winning 2-0 over the Oklahoma Sooners. So that's a nice win for the Chorf team. Then we had Happy Go Go winning. They beat Thrashcan, the Nurgle team, 2-0. Sorry, Thrashcan coach. I just said yay because it's goblins and they won and that's great. So Happy Go Go now have a win to their name. So they've probably got to be ecstatic about that. Then we had the Murderers Row doing what they do and winning 1-0 over Raskin Bobbins. 1 second. Oh yeah. So that was the other Nurgle team, and Murderers Row doing what Murderers Row does, winning slightly. Again, another hard-fought match. When you play Nurgle, it's never not never, but it's usually a low-scoring affair. And then we had the Sylvania Slayers eking out a draw against Once Bitten. So I think that's the 2 vampire teams going at it. And then we had the Gambas Gals winning 2-0 over Flinging Fun. So that's another solid victory for Gambas Gals. And then we had Lizard Mitimbers winning 4-0 over the Caveland Krakens. That's another new team? What is it with these new teams that are coming into on week 5? It just all seems to be happening and they seem to be kicking ass. So yeah, that's a 4-0 win for Lizard Timbers, and I would imagine that's a Lizardman team. So they must have destroyed the Norse team. Okay, so that's week 4 and 5. And now, after all of that high-octane action from weeks 4 and 5, let's see how you're all doing on the leaderboard here. So right now, we are in week 6, and we've had, I think, a few games played. But topping the table, we have Murderers Row, coached by the Doc M, at 5 straight wins. He hasn't lost a game. He's going to be that guy that just wins all season and is a straight pick for the playoffs, the Super Bowl. So, yep. Going great guns. He's probably looking to just coast on through to the playoffs. Next we have Rebel Rage Quits. I knew they were doing well, but they're in second, joint second, 3-way second, with the Oklahoma Sooners and Raskin Bobbins. So that's the Chorf team, Rebel Rage Quits, the Orc team, the Oklahoma Sooners, and the Nurgle team, Raskin Bobbins, are in a 3-way tie for second, third, or fourth place, respectively, on how you want to look at that. Then we have Gambas Gals, the Amazon team, coached by Gamba, at 3-0-2. Also at 3-0-2 we have the Kevland Krakens, coached by Oasis. Once Bitten, one of the vampire teams, coached by Bud Tugley, is at 2-2-1. Then we have the Sylvania Slayers, coached by Squid 5. I remember Squid 5 from last season in Division 7. And that's the Sylvania Slayers, coached by Squid 5, at 2-1-2. Then we had Thrashcan, the Nurgle team, coached by Mork69 at 2-1-2 also. And then rounding out the bottom of the table, we have Flingin' Fun, coached by Mr. Christie, a trim 700 TV halfling team at 1-1-3. That's actually fairly respectable. Happy Go-Go also is at 1-1-3, coached by Taco Truck. So the halfling team and the goblin team both must be happy. They both have a win, they have a draw, and they have some losses. I think the halfling team, Flingin' Fun, started out stronger, but getting a win earlier in the season. And then we've got Happy Go-Go with that win last week. Then we have the two new additions to the division. Lizardman Timbers. I was right, they are a Lizardman team. It's kind of obvious. Coached by Dwigs. That name sounds familiar. I think Dwigs was on Discord earlier this week. So they placed him in Division 5F. I was saying that he might be a good addition to 5F or 5G, considering that they are teams that didn't play much or didn't play at all in the Greenhorn. So good starting point for a fresh roll team. Anyway, so Lizardman Timbers got off to a great start. They won that last game 4-0 and made a big splash in the division. They've inherited admin team's record, so they're at 1-0-4. But really, in reality, they've just played one match and they've won one match. Same thing for the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia, coached by RK Blaze. Another new coach came in this week, and again inherited an admin team or an AI team's record. So played one game, won that one game impressively, 3-0, but inherited the 4 prior losses. And then we have the Harlem Globetrotters version 2, coached by Not So Clever, who is at 0 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. Again, that was inheriting an admin team's record, or maybe just inheriting his own record. He re-rolled. There was the Harlem Globetrotters, not version 2. So he probably inherited his own record. They just did a straight switch. Okay, so that covers the leaderboard. Now let's take a look at the upcoming action for week 6 and my predictions. So interesting. So we have week 6. None of you have played your games yet, so this is still fresh. It's Thursday today, so you have actually had a day or so, but good. I get to go through the entire list and give you all my predictions. So we have, starting off with, we have the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia versus Murderers Row. Despite an impressive splash that Siberian Hopscotch Mafia has made, the Kislev team, they are playing Murderers Row. Murderers Row is unbeaten. They've played 5 games, they've won 5 games. So I would be a fool not to give this to Murderers Row, but Siberian Hopscotch Mafia is a very much an unknown quantity. So, hey, they could pull it off. They could win. They could be the next big thing in this division. So I'm going to say give it to the Murderers Row just because they've won every game they've played so far this season. But I could be pleasantly surprised or unpleasantly surprised. I'm not sure which. I'll be surprised anyway. Next we have and for the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia, I'm going to shorten that to SHM versus Murderers Row. I'm going to pick a 2-1 scoreline. Yeah, 2-1 scoreline. Okay, so Happy Go-Go versus the Sylvania Slayers. I'm going to give this to the Goblins. I'm kind of half rooting for the Goblins. Sorry, Squid 5. But yeah, no, I'm going to give this to the Goblins. I think that unpredictable shit's going to happen. It's going to get crazy. Happy Go-Go is going to lay waste with the chainsaws and the bombardiers and the fanatics, and probably get a few bribes and just really go to town on the thralls. I think bloodlusts are going to happen. I think that this is going to be a vampire team self-destruct and being destroyed by the Goblin team. I don't think it's going to take much to destroy this team. I'm going to give it to the Happy Go-Go. And I'm going to say that this is going to be a 2-0 scoreline for Happy Go-Go. Rebel Rage Quit versus Gambas Gals. Really not going to muck around here. Rebel Rage Quit all the way. This is a Chorf team versus Amazons. Rebel Rage Quit and Gambas Gals are both good teams, good coaches, but I'm going to give the edge to the Chorf team because they have 6 blockers with tackle, and tackle is the arch enemy, the biggest weakness of the Amazon team. So, yep, definitely giving this to Rebel Rage Quit. And I'm going to give this as a 2-0 result as well. Harlem Globetrotters version 2 versus the Kevland Krakens. I'm going to give this to the Harlem Globetrotters. I think that if Not So Clever is a little bit clever, he's going to stay off base and just dance around the Norse team, be surgical, do strikes, break that AV7 armor where needed, but otherwise just get the hell out of the way. And I think that they're going to, if he's smart about it, he's going to eke out a win here. I think it's not going to be much. I think it's going to be a 1-0 win for the Harlem Globetrotters. Oklahoma Sooners versus Lizard Matimbers. Now, the Lizard Matimbers made a hell of a splash. Oklahoma Sooners is a strong team. I think this is going to be a draw. I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw. No, actually, I think this is going to be a 3-1 win for Lizard Matimbers. I think that Lizard Matimbers is... they made a hell of a splash. I think that they are going to catch a lot of people by surprise. I think the first or second team to be caught by surprise is going to be the Oklahoma Sooners. Jay Tanoki, I think you're going to get a shock this week. Thrashcan versus Flingin' Fun. I'm going to give this to Thrashcan. I think the Nurgle team is solid. It's going to be able to overcome the Halfling team. And I think this is going to be a 1-0 win for Thrashcan. And Raskin Bobbins versus Once Bitten. I'm going to again give this to the Nurgle team. And I think this is going to be a 1-0 win as well. Okay, now let's take a quick look at team development. So the first team, as always, is Flingin' Fun. So let's take a quick look at Mr. Christie's team. Let's see how they're doing sort of close to midpoint through the season. So there's not a ton of development on this team. I've got a feeling that maybe Mr. Christie hasn't been holding on, or hasn't been incentivized to really hold on to many of the halflings. So he may have had some that got injuries, they had SVP, but he's just going to throw them away anyway. We do have one Lotho Cotton. He did actually score in the highlight game I gave for you last episode. He's now on 13 of 16 SVP. Now where's Mr. Broccoli? I thought there was a Mr. Broccoli, something or other Broccoli. Maybe he died. Maybe he got retired. That was the other big scorer I seem to remember. Anyway, we also have Sancho Carrot and Griffo Highhill at 5 of 6. So they only need 1 SPP each, and then they're going to be leveling as well. And then the real aim for getting SPP on your players is to have them on the Treeman. We have 1 Treeman, Willow Long-Winded, with 6 SPP, and Willow's taken Grab. And then we have Deep Root Shakewood, who's still sitting at 4 of 6 SPP. Going into the next match, they have 13 players, and 11 of those are halflings, so that's pretty usual. Sitting at S700 TV, so who's he playing? Thrashcan, and Thrashcan is at 980, so he's only got 280 TV, 280k in inducements to play around with. So he can go for the Halfling Master Chef, and he can go for Puggy Bacon Breath. That might be a nice choice. Or he may just go for some bribes. Maybe spend a little bit of his own cash and go for some bribes and just have a fouling good time. Okay, next on the agenda, or next for us to take a look at, is Once Bitten, coached by Bud Tugley. One of our 2 vampire teams in this division. And Bud Tugley's doing okay. Once Bitten's doing okay. So they're getting the SPP on the vampires, which is good. They've all taken block. Pretty safe, pretty standard. And then we have 1 with Blodge. And then we have 1 Thrall with block. There's probably been a few deaths on this team, or a few retirements. But I can also see a number of the Thralls are sitting at a touchdown away, or a vanity pass away from leveling. He has 4 team rerolls. He has an apothecary. He's got 140k in the bank. And he is going to be playing Baskin Bobbins, the Nurgle team. Okay, so what's his TV? 1220, and Baskin Bobbins is so he's going to be he's going to have more TV than his opponents, so he's not going to be getting any inducements. So he might want to just weather the storm and trying to win without spending any inducement cash. Although if I was him, I might be tempted to get myself a babe, just to help with those knockouts that are going to be happening. Just to make sure that he's got enough thralls on the pitch to cover his bases. And not a lot of development. We're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels on this team. Don't know how many levels and then got retired or dead, but he's got a little bit of a way to go in terms of right now in terms of development. The next team we're going to look at is Raskin Bobbins, the Nurgle team that Once Bitten is playing this week, coached by Shira. Now, this is a compact Nurgle team. Seen a few deaths or retirements. With Decay, there's probably a lot of those rotters are just being injured all to hell once they go down. But in terms of development, we are undeveloped on the Beast of Nurgle, undeveloped on the Nurgle Warriors. We have 1 Nurgle Warrior with Mighty Blow. That's going to be good for speeding up development, but it's not the most safe move. Then we have French Vanilla with the Strength Up. We have Butter Pecan with the Mighty Blow. And then we have Chocolate Chip with the Kick. Yay! So if you haven't gotten used to it by now, I'm always in love with Kick, and I'm always going to applaud it when I see it. So yeah, we have Chocolate Chip, the Rotter with Kick. Good choice. In terms of future development, we have we have nobody close to leveling, so there's probably not going to be any level ups happening in this upcoming game. Although in future, what I would like to see is Shira. I would like to see you take something a little bit more solid in terms of development for your Noble Warriors. You have the one with Mighty Blow. What I might have done is taken Block on the first one, and then on the second one I would have taken Mighty Blow, and on the third one I would have taken Block, and then on the fourth one I would have taken Mighty Blow. This way you can have, because Block, is not as fast a development, but it's safer, it's more solid, stable. And if you have your first one getting Block, they're safe. They can develop. They won't develop as fast as giving them Mighty Blow, but it's a lot safer. Second one, you can give them Mighty Blow. They'll catch up to the first one's development. Then you might have two leveling at the same time, and then on the second two, do the same thing. And then next skill ups, I would say just start racking up guard on these Noble Warriors. Block, Mighty Blow, Guard, just sort of try and get a combination of those. I'm not at all shooting down or criticising the taking the Mighty Blow. It can be very effective. It can get you those levels quickly. It can get you developed quickly. Noble teams, they do suffer from slow development. I run a Noble team, so I know firsthand how slow and arduous it can be. But yeah, that's definitely what I would go for in terms of development for the Noble Warriors. In terms of development for the Pestigors, I'd be getting a third Pestigor sooner rather than later. Right now you're down players, but you're fine with loner Rotters, that's fine. Just save up your money, get that third Pestigor, and maybe you look like you're developing a killer here. You're developing a more impressive killer here with the strength up. I would develop a ball handling Pestigor. And then for your Rotters, if you can get this Rotter to another level up, I would give him Wrestle. And if you can get this Rotter level up, if you have the ball carrying or ball handling Pestigor, start investing in things like Dirty Player. Sorry, I had to think for a second there. Yeah, Dirty Player, and then you can just be causing more injuries and getting more of a numbers advantage. All in all, great team development. Probably going to go on to do solid things towards the end of the season and definitely next season if you stick with the Noble team. Next is Thrashcan, the other Noble team. These two Noble teams, they seem to hang around together on the schedule and on the team screen. They seem to be sort of placed side by side. So anyway, let's have a look at Thrashcan. So Thrashcan is going that sort of more stable route with Block on the two Noble Warriors. He doesn't have the Beast of Noble, and he's still suffering from pretty much the same level of attrition that She-Ra and the Raskin Bobbins was suffering from. And yet there's also less development, so there's probably been some deaths along the way. He does have 3 Pestigors, has the 4 Chaos Warriors, has 2 Rotters, 1's injured, so 3 Rotters. And we actually have a number of players that are close to leveling. So you have 2 Block on these Noble Warriors. I would probably go for this one, I would probably go Mighty Blow. And then once these 2 Noble Warriors level up, I would go Guard. And then once the Mighty Blow one levels up, I would go block, and then guards on that one. Or maybe not even guard, maybe go claw and develop this as a killer piece. And you're just waiting for your Pestigores to level. You got one that's 1 SPP away. These two are 1 touchdown away. So in this next game, you're going to be leveling. Hopefully, you're going to be leveling one of either Chaos Warrior or Noble Warrior, or one of these 3 Pestigores. Maybe even a Rotter as well. If you can get 2 level ups in the next game, that would be great. That'll really sort of kickstart your development and make your team a lot more solid and fun to play with. Moving on, we have the Oklahoma Sooners. So the Oklahoma Sooners, they've been doing okay this season. I think they're mid-table. We have a Black Hawk with a movement up. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but you got it and you took it, and so now you have a move 5 Black Hawk. You are sort of stifling your development a bit, even though you did get the movement up, and startup's always nice to take. It looks pretty. I don't think a movement up on a Black Hawk is all that useful. You're moving up from 4 to 5 movement, and you're just, Black Hawks are such a pain to develop anyway that you're now setting him back. He's now going to be, it was 6 SPP to get the level up to where you get block. Now it's going to be 9 SPP? Yeah, 9 SPP, which is going to be painful for you to get. So yeah, I probably would have gone a different direction with that. Anyway, we have a troll with guard. That's great. That's really good, nice and solid. We have this Black Hawk with block. Great. Block and guard. If you can get them on your Black Hawks, then you're laughing. Because a wall of block guard Black Hawks is a terrifying thing to play against. So we have your 2 blitzers that have leveled. So we have the first one with tackle. So he's going to be a good safety, able to take care of the dodgy players like your elves, your gutter runners, your skinks, and really sort of go in and punish those. Then we have your killer piece, your big scary one that is Landrace Jones, level 3. We've got Mighty Blow and Piling On. He's going to be a scary player to face. And then we have a lineman with guard. Amazing, you rolled a double there and you got guard. Good choice, a nice strong choice. It's going to really help you overpower your opponents. And then we have, well, that's it in terms of development. We have another goblin, but he hasn't got any levels yet. Probably going to be a nice cannon fodder for the troll there. Sitting at 1360 TV, in terms of future development, we have this Black Hawk leveling soon. We have the other Black Hawk. Yeah, both of them are just a casualty away or an injury away from leveling. I would personally go for block on each of those, but I'm not a big Orc coach, so I think there are a lot of good Orc coaches out there, and they might even advise you to go guard before going block. Again, that's probably a very, very valid tactic. I know that block or guard either is where you want to be with, or both is where you want to be with your Black Orcs. I would probably go block, but if you went guard as well, that would be a very safe choice. In terms of your blitzers and the rest of your team, you have this one leveling soon. I would probably go. I'd probably go Mighty Blow, actually. Really make them scary, or Mighty Blow or tackle, or maybe even make this a frenzy piece. That would be an interesting piece to have. make it frenzy, and then get Juggernaut, and then that's a nice scary surfing piece that will be a nice surprise, adds another dimension to your team. But yeah, solid team. Just not sure about this movement up on the Black Orc, but I'm sure you have a grand plan for it. I'm just not seeing it. Okay, so we have the Harlem Globetrotters were next, but I believe they've been recreated. This team is hanging around on the team screen, but we'll move on to Rebel Rage Quit. So Rebel Rage Quit, 12th team. Let's take a look at their team. So we have one. Oh, these are blockers. They're not the Bull Centaurs. Oh, you've got the Bull Centaurs at the bottom. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. One has one of these first two has 10 SPP and taken Mighty Blow. Good, solid choice. Another one has taken Mighty Blow and also taken Guard. And then we have another 2 blockers, so 3 of the 5 blockers he has right now have no SPP. So we've basically ended up with a lot of development on these two. Probably a testament to taking Mighty Blow first. Now you can start racking up those injuries. Then get Guard next. Or if it becomes available, Claw. And it's probably going to do the same thing with these other 3. Looks like he had a blocker die at some point, and he doesn't quite have enough to buy that 6th blocker. He has the Minotaur, who's doing surprisingly well. I'm not a big fan of Minotaurs on the Chaos Dwarf team, but this one seems to be okay. He has picked up Guard, although for the Minotaur, it's such a dynamic piece. You know, it lives and it is kind of somewhat effective by the fact that it's always blitzing. So I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to use Guard to its fullest extent. I think Guard is a skill that's used more passively, used to shore up the offensive actions of others, or provide defensive support. You can use it, it's good. I might have gone for something else though on the Minotaur, or on I play Skaven a lot, so or on a Rat Ogre. If I had a Rat Ogre on my team, I because they were both wild animals, I wouldn't probably go for Guard first, maybe Guard later on. Anyway, moving on, he has the 1, 2, 3, 4 Hobgoblins. They haven't leveled yet. We got one close to leveling. We've got one that's a touchdown away from leveling. And when they do level, he's probably going to go for Dirty Player. Knowing the makeup of and the sort of general direction that Arabi's heading in, he's probably going to go for Dirty Player. Although he may be a little bit more sensible and go for... well, I'm not saying that Dirty Player is not sensible, but he may want to go for something a bit more passive and go for safe hands. But on those Hobgoblins, but no, probably going to go for Dirty Player. And then we have the 2 Bull Centaurs. One is a touchdown away from leveling, the other one has leveled, and he took a block on the one that has leveled. Still sitting on 2 team rerolls, does have that injury, or that death of the blocker. Doesn't have enough to buy the blocker yet. It is probably going to be quite a while before he gets that 3rd reroll, so probably expect to see him on 2 rerolls for quite a while. I wouldn't say that Chorfs are the most desperately in need of rerolls team ever, but they do need them. Okay, moving on. Happy Go-Go. They may not win every game, but they are going to become a fan favourite. I can feel it. The team name, the fact that they're goblins, yeah, people are going to have affection in their hearts for this team. Okie dokie, so let's have a quick look. We've got Large Marge, great name, one of the trolls, and Trina, who's the other troll. Trina has leveled. She's got, I'm going to say she, has got break tackle. Then we have the Fanatic with nothing, the Looney and the Bombardier with nothing. Maybe they're deaths, they're replacements. In fact, Wonder 2.0 is definitely a replacement. Then we have a whole bunch of goblins with nothing, and then we have Lexi, who is the crazy star player, regular goblin player, who's now level 3 and has jump up and sidestep. So yeah, and is close to leveling again. So it looks like Lexi is the main ball carrier and is the up and coming star of the team. He's probably going to be a few seasons time. He's going to be closing in on legend and going to die horribly. But until then, I'm sure that Taco Truck's having a lot of fun with this one goblin. We do have another goblin that's close to leveling, but I'm just getting the feeling that Taco Truck's putting all of his eggs in this one very fragile basket. So hopefully Taco Truck, you can protect this goblin and let him do great things, and not have it die horribly, because then your 26 SPP that you've invested in him is going to go to waste. Has 150k in the bank, doesn't have an apothecary, probably doesn't really care to have one, because a lot of these players are very cheap to replace. Although and the trolls have regen. Although I would say that now that you're putting all your figurative eggs in one basket, that is Lexi, you might want to start thinking about investing in the apothecary, because if a player's going to die on this team, you're probably going to be Lexi, because, well, that's just Murphy's Law, isn't it? Maybe next time that Lexi levels, if he's still alive and going strong, maybe just get an apothecary and just give Lexi the only player on this team with apo rights. His own personal apothecary. Anyway, moving on. I expect to see great things from Happy Go Go as the season progresses. At least fun things. Now, the Kevlin Krakens, coached by Oasis. Let's take a quick look. So the Kevlin Krakens, they have the two Berserkers. Interesting route. He's gone for Stand Firm with the Berserker. I personally wouldn't have gone that way. I would have gone Killers for sure. I rate the Berserkers on the Norse team higher than pretty much every other player. They're your marquee players. Well, for me they are anyway. And they're also your killers. Yeah, you have the Ulfs, but they don't have any skills to begin with. You have the Yeti, who's really difficult to level. For an immediate effect and to really sort of hit the ground running, level up your Berserkers, give them Mighty Blow piling on, and then just watch the SVP come in and watch the teams you're fighting against just die. Yeah. So he's gone for Stand Firm, which is an interesting choice. He has a game plan in mind, obviously. I just can't see what it is right now. Hopefully it works out for him. He's got this other one that's leveling soon. I strongly advise you to go Mighty Blow and then piling on. At least make one of these two pieces your killer piece. And then also maybe get Tackle after Mighty Blow and piling on. Or maybe Mighty Blow, Tackle and then piling on. Or do one Mighty Blow, Tackle, piling on, and one Mighty Blow, piling on, Tackle. Yeah, definitely. And then Juggernaut would be a good choice as well. That way they can be this crazy killer surfing piece. Really fun. And saying that about a Norse team, because I hate Norse, saying Berserkers can be really fun if you do that, that's saying a lot. Okay, so moving on, we have the runner that hasn't leveled or hasn't got any SPP. We've got one that has leveled, he took a jump up. And then we have this lineman that took Frenzy. So looks like you're going for, and we have the one Ulf that hasn't got any SPP either. It looks like with this lineman you're going Frenzy, so you probably might end up going Juggernaut, or you might go piling on. Either way, lots of fun. 3 team re-rolls, 1 apothecary, 1 fan factor, 60k in the bank, 10 players. I probably wouldn't bother investing that in another lineman. You get a lone lineman, save your money, maybe get yourself that second Ulf, and then just start getting them levels. They can be fantastic players, but to begin with, they kind of suck. Got to be honest. Anyway, moving on. Murderers Row, coached by the Doc M. This is the team to beat right now. This is the team that's gone 5-0, unbeaten, complete win record. And what's he doing that with? He's doing it with an 1170 TV team. There isn't a hell of a lot of development on this team. It's probably seen a lot of injuries, like career-ending injuries, and maybe even deaths as well. So we have 2 werewolves. One has leveled, got block. The other one hasn't leveled. He's a touchdown away from leveling though. Definitely want to get those guys leveled. Make one maybe a ball carrying piece, one a killer piece, or make both 2 killer pieces. Up to you. But yeah, werewolves are going to be your star players, so definitely get them leveled. We have 1 white that has taken guard. We have a flesh golem that's got dodge. The other flesh golem's got block. Slap them together. They are patchwork monsters anyway. Slap them together and you've got a blodge golem, which would be fun. Of the 2 golems, the dodge one is closest to leveling. That was a double roll. And then we have the other flesh golem with block. I would get block on. Well, try and get 2 blodge golems, and then you're laughing, aren't you? They do have general's access, so you can fairly easily get on Meanie Todd. You can get block. On the other one, if you don't roll a double, I would probably go for Mighty Blow. Maybe even Grab. Grab might be a good choice. You can always use Grab to set up the surf with your werewolves, or you can use Grab to really initiate a 1-turn touchdown. That's really useful for that, especially if one of your werewolves has sidestep. Makes setting up a 1-turn touchdown so easy. So yeah, maybe Grab if you're Gilles de Raz. If he doesn't get a double, I consider Grab. That might be a good choice. Or Mighty Blow, always a solid choice. And then in terms of your meat shields, your zombies, you've got one with block. You might want to consider getting a dirty player zombie. That might be fun. But you know, I'm reviewing a team that hasn't lost a game yet, so I think the Doc M knows exactly what he's doing, where he's headed, and how his team's going to develop. Okay, moving on, we have the Sylvania Slayers, coached by Squid5, the other vampire team. We've got 3 levels, on your vampire. Three vampires. One of them has leveled. He hasn't taken the level yet, so definitely take that. Then we have a thrall with. Is that leader? It is. So we have a thrall that rolled a double, and he's taken a leader. You might want to consider getting him block or wrestle next. Just give him some little bit of security, because if I'm playing you and I see that, I'm going to make a beeline to kill that guy over any of your other thralls. Get him off the pitch, kill him, preferably, and then you're down a reroll. You have 5 rerolls, so that's pretty solid. Only 3 vampires, so you should probably have those rerolls last you the entire match or the entire half. Have an apothecary. Not sure what you have the apothecary for, because your vampires have regen. They're also pretty tough to put down anyway. And then the thralls, I don't know, I'm not sure. You have a lot of thralls, so it's not like you're going to run out of them, even with Bloodlust. But you have an apothecary, it's good to have, I suppose. Yeah. Moving on, Gamba's Gals. Coached by Gamba. So we have the 4 blitzers. One's got an agility up. He is, or she is, worth her weight in gold. We have another blitzer with Mighty Blow. We have another blitzer with guards. There's a little bit of diversity here, which is good. Don't have a blitzer, or don't have any pieces yet with tackle. So maybe you might want to think about tackle on Jenks, or maybe another Mighty Blow. But I would probably consider tackle. It's always good to have a tackle piece to deal with those dodge pieces, and definitely by the end of the season you want to have a tackle piece, because as soon as you go into the higher divisions, and I'm sure you know this because you're a returning vet, you're the original returning vet, so I know you know this, but yeah, as soon as you get into the higher divisions, there's going to be teams loaded with dodge, just like yours is, so you want to have nice tackle pieces, or a few tackle pieces maybe. It's something that I'm suffering from right now. I'm being a bit of a hypocrite. I have a Skaven team. They were a fresh roll last season. Now I'm in Div 3, and I am so disappointed I didn't take tackle. I had the opportunity to take tackle on one of my Storm Vermin. Decided to go piling on with Mighty Blow, which is a good choice, but not at the cost of taking a tackle piece. Now I have no tackle pieces and I'm suffering. So take it from me, take it from my personal experience of loss and longing. Take tackle. That goes for everybody, by the way. Namba, the catcher, has levels. You haven't taken the level yet. You should know better. Level up. We have Shepherds, who is unleveled yet, another catcher. We have a thrower who is 3 passes or a touchdown away from leveling. Then we have Blackburn Sensei, who is 4 SPP away from leveling. Now Blackburn Sensei, again, you got very lucky. You got strength up, so now you have a strength 4 linewoman. I think next level up, and this is probably what you would have taken anyway if you hadn't got the strength up, is going to be block across the board. Maybe for any of them, because they all have the same stat line. Apart from the block, apart from the blitzers, maybe consider getting a Rog piece or 2, and then maybe developing those as like your Bullhawks. That might be interesting. Wrestle and then strip ball, or wrestle and tackle, and then suddenly you've got another arrow in your quiver, or another route of picking apart a team. It's always good to have options. So yeah, maybe develop one or two of these rather than going blodge for all of them. Develop one or two of these with wrestle and tackle and strip ball, or tackle or strip ball, and you'll have a ball hawk. Solid team. I really don't need to be commenting on what Gamba should or shouldn't be doing. As I said, he's one of the originals, or the original, so he probably knows perfectly well what he should or shouldn't be doing. Okay, so moving on, we have the reroll and the two new teams. These are all AI teams. So we have RK Blaze, the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia. This is the Kislev team that came in and kicked ass 3-0 in their first and last game. So Kislev, interesting team. They all come with leap and very long legs, which allows them to leap. Add a +1 modifier to their leaps, and then also very long legs allows them to intercept easier. So word to the wise, if you're playing Siberian Hopscotch Mafia and you've never played a Kislev team before, don't pass over them. That's the great way for them to intercept and steal the ball from you and score. Now, in terms of development, I only played the one game, so you've only got the one level, and that was block on your catcher. That's a good choice. I would probably go dodge next. Block is a great choice. But I would probably have gone dodge first if it was an option. I'm not sure. They have agility access, I would imagine. Yeah, they do. So definitely go dodge next. I possibly would have gone dodge first. Then you have your two blitzers. They can develop incredibly strongly because they have access to general agility and strength, I believe. Let's have a look. General agility and strength, yep. So they can develop incredibly well. So yeah, definitely should be an interesting team to watch in the upcoming season. Lizard Me Timbers. This is the other new team. They won 4-0. They've also have one level up, Long John Silver, who ended up getting catch, the skink. Impressive win, Dwigs. I'm sure you're going to go on to do well. You're actually playing Murderers Row, which is the top rated team in the division right now. So it might be a tougher game for you, but yeah, probably going to go, after that stunning debut, you're probably going to go on to have a really good season. And then we have the re-rolled Harlem Globetrotters, and they've got nothing. No development at all, apart from the MVP on one of the linemen, and they have a lineman out injured. They got a re-roll. They got two team re-rolls. This is a fresh roll team. They haven't got an apothecary yet. They haven't got any ASPP on their blitzers. It looks like it's going to be a hard season ahead because they've now lost that starting on the same level as everybody else. They've re-rolled. They have a bad record. Yeah, this is going to be a hard season ahead for you, I've got to be honest. Yeah, there we go. So that concludes the look at the teams for Division F and the action for Division F, 5F for weeks 4 and 5. And right now we're going to move on to 5G. Hello, coaches of Division 5G. So let's take a look at the results for weeks 4 and 5 for you guys. Okay, so in week 4, or day 4, we had the Austin Knights losing 2-1, valiantly 2-1 to BioWare for Life. Then we had the Mount the Tetons winning 1-0 over the Dolgan Lions. Next we had the We Chillin', the Dark Elf team, winning 2-0 over the Big Bad Baby Eaters, the Chorf team. Then we had Thunderstrike and These Violent Delights, both grind each other to a halt. That was a 0 draw. Then we had the Farm Animals winning 2-0 over the Castlevania Creeps. We had Lizardteckers winning 1-0 over Cheetahs and Such. And then we had Scooby and the Gang winning 1-0 over the Running Goofs. Moving on to week 5. We had Mountain the Tetons winning 2-1 over the Austin Knights. Again, the Austin Knights, valiant defeat, losing to the 2-1 grind 2 weeks in a row there. Then we had We Chillin', the Dark Elf team, winning 1-0 over BioWare for Life. We had These Violent Delights and the Dolgan Lions eking out a 1-1 draw. Same thing for the Farm Animals and the Big Bad Baby Eaters. Again, a 1-1 draw. Lizardteckers won 2-0 over the Thunderstrike. Scooby and the Gang beat the Castlevania Creeps 2-1. And the Holy Grails won 2-1 over Cheetahs and Such. The Holy Grails is a new team, I would imagine. So let's take a quick look. Yes, the Holy Grails is Abinorma143. New coach to the division. Welcome. And it's a Bretonian team, so that's got to be a first in this division. And maybe a first in the new role teams, I'm not sure. Great, I love the Bretonian teams. I'm very, very interested to see how this team does in the upcoming season. Okay, so after all of that high octane action and a lot of draws, we're going to take a look at the leaderboard. So topping the leaderboard, interestingly, is the Dark Elf team, We Chillin', coached by C. Arnaud, and they have a record of 3 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses. Next we have the Lizardteckers by Blagrag at 4 wins and 1 loss. So the We Chillin' Dark Elf team, they've actually played their weekday 6 or match day 6 game. So Blagrag and probably a lot of the other teams actually have a game in hand. So we have actually Lizardteckers, Blagrag and Scooby and the Gang, coached by Travel Scrabble, are both sitting at 4 wins and 1 loss. Then we have These Violent Delights, the Amazon team, coached by Rodog, at 3 wins, 2 draws. BioWare for Life, coached by the Vampire team, coached by Dire Sickfish, at 3-1-1. Mountain Tetons, the Orc team, at 3-1-1. We have the Farm Animals, the Chaos team, at 2-2-2. The Big Bad Baby Eaters, coached by Fizzle P, the Chaos Dwarf team, at 2-2-1. So they're just behind the Farm Animals there. In 9th, with just a game played, although their record just says differently, they're actually inheriting an admin team record there. But this is the new Bretonian team, the Holy Grails, and they are at 1-1-3. The Castlevania Creeps, the Vampire team, coached by Vapor Gecko, at 1-1-3. Then we have the Austin Knights at 1-0-4. We have Wolfram Jacks, another team that's played their 6 games, at lost my place. At 0 wins, 3 draws and 3 losses. Then we have the Goblin team, Cheetahs and Such, coached by Max Adams, at 0 wins, 2 draws and 4 losses. And then we have, rounding out the bottom of the table, we have the other Chaos team, the Dolgan Lions, and they have 0 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. So let's take a quick look at the upcoming action from week 6. Now I know a few games have been played, but we should be able to give you predictions on, or I should be able to give you predictions on the other games that are upcoming in week 6. So we have the Austin Knights versus Scooby and the Gang. I'm going to solidly put this one at a win for Scooby and the Gang. The games I've highlighted and the games I've watched for Travel Scrabble and Scooby and the Gang, he's been impressing me. So I don't think he's going to disappoint me this week, and I think this is going to be a solid win. I think this is actually going to be a 3-1 win for Scooby and the Gang. The Lizards Techers versus the Holy Grails. So the Holy Grails, the new Bretonian team, versus the Lizards Techers, the Lizardman team. Lizards Techers do have a proven record. They are, I think, 2nd or 3rd in the division right now. So it's a very strong team. The Lizardman team, they are very strong anyway. However, the Bretonian team got off to a good start. They played one game. They had a good result. Again, fresh to the league, fresh to the division, fresh to the REL. But Bretonian team is one of those teams that they actually do fairly well against teams with a lot of strength 4 players, purely because they actually have a lot of block and wrestle, and then they also have the blitzers who all have dauntless. A number of times I've played Bretonian teams and I've been up against, like, say, Orcs, and the Orc coach is horrified that I'm managing to take down his Black Orcs, take down his defensive line, and it's all by using my peasants in support, and then using those blitzers and their dauntless. It doesn't always proc, but it does often. And it really helps the Bretonian teams level the playing field against those higher strength teams. Where they can struggle is against sort of the more agility teams, because dauntless doesn't really come into play there, and it's just, you know, their ability of keeping up with the agility teams, which they aren't as good at. But against those stronger teams, Bretonian teams, that can really shine. So I'm going to place this as a 2 draw. Next we have the Farm Animals versus Cheeses and Such. That game's already been played. It was a 1-1 draw for Cheeses and Such and the Farm Animals. So that's probably got to be a good result, all things considered, for the Goblin team. Next upcoming match is These Violent Delights versus the Castlevania Creeps. I'm actually going to pick the Castlevania Creeps. I know that Vapor Gecko, SFG Sam, he's a veteran of the Rebel, and I got a feeling he's just been taking a few weeks just to really sort of figure out his team and figure out how to play vampires. I think he might have turned that corner now. I'm going to put this at a 1-1 draw. Next we have We Chillin' versus Thunderstrike. We Chillin' won that game already, so they've already played their week 6 game. They won 2-0 over Thunderstrike. Next we have Mount the Tethans versus the Big Bad Baby Eaters. I'm going to give this to the Big Bad Baby Eaters. I'm going to give this as a 2-1 win for them. Then we have BioWare for Life versus Dog and Lions. Again, I'm going to, I'm going to pick a 2-1 win for BioWare for Life. I think that they're going to be able to pull this one out, and they're going to be able to get the 2-1 grind. Okay, so we've taken a quick look at what's upcoming for these teams, but let's just see how they've been developing. So, first team on the list, BioWare for Life. Let's take a quick look at their team, how they've been developing. So we have the 2 vampires. Actually, I looked at this team last week, or last episode. We have the 2 vamps with both with movement ups, which makes them very fast, but they also don't have as much in defense, as much stability as, and there's only 2 of them as well. But they both have movement up, which is great. One has the dodge. We also have a thrall with dodge, and then we have a number of thralls that are close to leveling. Dire Sickfish doesn't have a huge bank. Hopefully he's saving for another vampire. I'd like to see 3, maybe even 4 vampires on this team. I know a lot of vampire coaches are somewhat reticent to take the 4 vampires. It's good to be cautious, or more than 2 vampires. It's good to be cautious, but I recently just came out of a competition from another league where we had a coach who was running 5 vampires. He'd managed to build up his team. He had 5 vampires, 5 team rerolls, and he wasn't running out of the team rerolls. He's quite conservative in his play, but those 5 vampires were really powerful on the pitch. He was developing them well, and allowed him to really sort of rack up some impressive score lines. It's always a risk, but for Dire Sickfish, he is a veteran coach. I would like to see him just maybe expand his potential. He's also expanding his risks, but I think he can handle that just fine, and maybe get that 3rd vampire sooner rather than later. I know it's a lot to save up for, but definitely that would be my advice. Has the 5 team rerolls, has an apothecary, is doing well, has a pretty low team value right now. Wouldn't focus on getting any more thralls. I would just focus on getting that vampire sooner rather than later. Mount the Tetons, coached by Brian 506. Orc team. Orcs is always solid. I'm not expecting to see a very small team here. I'm expecting to see 11, maybe slightly more. So we have the 4 Black Orcs. Precious little in terms of development for them. That's not a huge surprise. Might be slightly disappointing for Brian though. We have 1 Black Orc with 5 of 6 SVP. If you can, Brian, just try and get some levels on these Black Orcs. I know it's hard, I know it's slow moving, but get some levels on them. Then they become a lot more stable, they become a lot more fearsome. As soon as you can get block and guard, then suddenly you've got a very scary defensive wall of Black Orcs. They don't go down, they don't mince around, they're just solid, and they are going to become a backbone of your team. You might want to consider, just to speed up the team development, you might want to consider getting Mighty Blow, but that does make them a little bit more risky to use. Then we have the Blitzers. This seems to be where a lot of the SVP is going to. So we have 1 Blitzer with Blodge and Sure Hands. We have another Blitzer with Mighty Blow and Tackle. So this is going to be a killer piece. This is going to be a ball carrier piece. You don't have a thrower, so this is now your ball carrier piece. I might have invested in a thrower rather than one of these linemen, just so you can have that ball carrying piece. And then you can utilise all 4 of these blitzers as more of like your safeties, your roving killers, and just give them that defined role rather than sort of earmarking one of them to be a ball carrier and having to sort of give them sure hands. Then we have 3 linemen. Again, no development. We do have a lineman close-ish to leveling. And then we have, finishing out the round, doing out the team, we have the Troll, who is 1 SPP away from leveling, so that's good. He'll be leveling soon. 3 team rerolls, 1 apothecary, 1270 team value, and 90k in the bank. So sitting pretty, I think sitting mid pack in the leaderboard. We Chill In is currently top of the leaderboard with a game in hand, or they've played their 6 games, and a lot of teams have only played 5. So in terms of development, we have Blodge on all your blitzers apart from one, who's probably quite new. We have your Witch Elf, who is going to be your nightmare piece. She got a movement up, so you've got to be pretty happy about that. Then we also have the lineman with guard, so that was a nice double. We have another lineman with dodge. We have 2 linemen with wrestle. Might be developing these 2 as bullhawks and trouble pieces. In terms of the rest of the development for your linemen, if you are developing these as your bullhawk stroke trouble pieces, then tackle or strip ball might be nice. Diving tackle would be interesting. Sidestep would be good. Dodge, obviously. And in terms of development for your blitzers, I would definitely take tackle as my next on these blodge pieces. Really make them a sort of scary piece. I know you don't have a strength access, but you can get tackle, and then that's putting the fear of God into a lot of these teams with dodge, especially like teams like stunty teams or lizardmen teams. They have a lot of skinks that you can take out pretty easily if you have tackle. Moving on, we have these Valiant Delights, the Amazon team. Here we go, a team with dodge, coached by Rodog, and we have a thrower out, and we have a blitzer out, and then we have these 3 blitzers remaining. One of them has got a level up and has taken guard. The other 2 are just literally, one's a pass away and the other one's a touchdown away from leveling. Then we have the catchers, who have also taken blocks, so now they're blodge pieces. This one is 2 touchdowns away, and this one is 1 touchdown away from leveling. And then we have the 3 linemen, or 3 line women, and they are all various states of development. So now we move on to the farm animals, the Chaos team. And true to form, so far in my experience, the farm animals are, as a Chaos team, aren't seeing much different in the way of development at all. 5 games in, this is a little bit low, but we do see 1 Beastman with the sure hands, good choice. And then we have a Chaos Warrior with dodge, so that was a doubles roll. Nice to have the dodge, although at this stage of development I probably would have gone for block or mighty blow. We have 2 Chaos Warriors that are close to leveling, so that's good. Just need 1 SPP on each of them, and then they are going to be leveling 2. And just as I just said, I would probably go for block or mighty blow, maybe 1 on each of them. This one block, this one mighty blow, and then as soon as you can, get this one leveled up. And since you already started down that path, I would probably get them blocked, make them a blodge piece, and then from here on out you have a blodge Chaos Warrior, but then I would just sort of focus on getting block, mighty blow and guard, and then you're set. For your Beastmen, you have 2 Beastmen that are close to leveling. You have your ball carrying piece here. I would probably develop both of these as sort of blitzers, safeties, killers. Go for block, go for mighty blow, go for claw, and really sort of develop them as these terrifying pieces that are going to sort of tear down the field and rip holes in the opposition. And develop your Chaos Warriors as your strong, solid sort of wall that's going to be very hard to overcome, and then maybe sort of develop one of the Chaos Warriors as another kill piece, and then the rest of the Beastmen, sort of develop them as support pieces, maybe another sort of ball carrying, ball handling piece, and you'll be off to a good solid sort of team start then. As I said, a little bit slow on the development so far. You might have had some deaths, but definitely just focus on getting these pieces leveled, and then things will start to fall into place for you. Other than that, fairly solid team. You've got an apothecary, you've got 3 team rerolls, relatively good team value. You have a bit of money in the bank to cover you for emergencies. You don't need any more players right now. You're set with the 11. Maybe I would go for another Beastman. Probably steer away from the Minotaur now, just because you'd be getting him a little bit late, and I think they have limited use anyway. I would just focus on creating a very solid Chaos team that's going to sort of be able to stand up to most teams and walk away unscathed and walk away with the win. The Lizard Techers. So the Lizard Techers have at least one level up still to take. It's a Saurus as well. It's a Saurus second level. Oh my god! I can't believe you're delaying leveling up this Saurus. I would be if it was me, I'd be immediately as soon as I could leveling up just to see what I've got. So far, few and far between is the Saurus levels. So especially a second one. So probably what I would take, unless you roll like a double or a stat up, you're probably going to be going for Mighty Blow, maybe for Guard, but both are solid choices. I personally would probably go Mighty Blow. With the division you're in and the team development levels right now, Guard probably won't come into play that often for you. If it was like next season and you're in a higher division, then and you were in this position with a Saurus leveling up and on second level, I would say Guard every time. But now, I'll probably say Mighty Blow. You have another 2 block Saurus, so this is very strong. This is very solid. And then you have Skeeter the Skink with an agility up. This is your player who is worth more than his weight, double his weight in gold. An agility for Skink is a beautiful thing. You have 3 team rerolls, and you have the Croxagore, so you are sitting pretty. You're also sitting fairly high up on the leaderboards, and you have 120k in the bank. There are no dark clouds on your horizon, let's just say that. Now we have Scooby and the gang, the other high rolling team in the division, coached by Travel Scrabble. So we have the 2 werewolves. One has gotten a level up, and he's sitting at 6 SPP, taking block. The other one is close to leveling. He's at 4 SPP, so just one casualty or 1 touchdown, and he's leveled. We have the ghoul, Shaggy, who is sitting at 11 SPP. 1 MVP, and he's going to be leveling as well. He was already leveled. He's taken Guard. Great, got a double skill up there. We have another white Captain Caveman who took Guard as well. So you're well equipped with Guard pieces now. You have Top Cat, who is sitting at 4 of 6 SPP. So again, another casualty, a score, a touchdown, and you can level with him. We have your 2 flesh golems, Ryogi Bear and Fred Flintstone, both sitting at 0 SPP. That's not shocking. Flesh golems are probably the slowest leveling pieces, positional pieces in the game. I don't know why, but they seem to die a lot and they seem to level really slowly. And until they start getting levels, they're not as effective as other power pieces. They have stand firm, which can be annoying, but they don't have mighty blow. They don't have anything else. They still move slowly, but once you start developing them, they can become really, really good. So whilst they are a nightmare to level, just to try and, whenever you can, get some levels on, or SPP on these pieces, get them leveled. As soon as they get block or mighty blow, my advice would be block, but up to you. But as soon as they get a level up, they start to become a little bit more effective. Get a second level up on them, and they become really effective. You have a dirty player on one of your zombies, and you're sitting pretty. You've got 12 pieces, 100k in the bank, relatively modest team value, 1240, sorry. You've got 3 team rerolls, 3 fan factor. You're close to the top, if not at the top of the leaderboard. You're having great games. There's nothing to complain about. Your world is looking very rosy, indeed. Running Goofs, Skaven team, coached by Tezriel. Is that how I pronounce it? Tezriel? I'm going to go with that. And your team motto is kiss your dad square on the lips. I'm not sure about that. Okay, moving on. So, Skaven team, my personal favourite, the team I'm running right now. One of my top teams. The other one is Pro Elves. I'm not a big Bash coach, but yeah, I do love Skaven teams. You have just the one Storm Vermin. I think you probably lost one along the way. The Storm Vermin you still have as 0 SPP. Your Gutter Runners are underdeveloped as well, considering you're 5 games into the season. We have 3 SPP on 1, and that's the highest Gutter Runner you've got right now. So 1 touchdown on him, and he's going to be leveling. And 0 SPP on 2 of them, 1 SPP on the other. You really just need to bite the bullet and stick these Gutter Runners in. I know that they're a little bit fragile, but they have dodge. They're the fastest players in the game. They're your star players. You really need to start making things happen for these guys. There is so much advice I can give you on team build, but until you start leveling these guys, I'm not gonna go into it. Just because I don't know, it could be a week or 2 before I see a level on these Gutter Runners. Just in case you level them and take skills before I look at this team next, I would definitely go pick a role for your Gutter Runners. Your Gutter Runners are the core of your team. They're gonna, apart from filling that killer blitzer role, they are going to be pretty much doing everything else of note on this team. So what I like to do is I like to pick a role for my Gutter Runners. You've got 4 of them, pick a role for each of them. So you would usually have 1 Gutter Runner that's my ball carrier. So I give him blodge, I give him sidestep. These are all normal roles. I would give him fend, I would give him sure hands, and then doubles. I would be taking 2 heads maybe. I would be taking actually I would put another normal roll. It would be leap. Leap would be a good one. If you're taking leap, then very long legs. What I would also like to do, if you get movement up, then you're going to have your one turn scoring threat. Every Skaven team needs one. So that would be getting the movement up, then getting sure feet, then getting sprint, or vice versa, sprint and sure feet. Getting 2 heads to make those dodges easier. Maybe getting leap, so that you don't even have to dodge through the tackle zones. And if you do go the leap route, then get very long legs to make the leaps easier. Sidestep, fend. That pretty much does it for your one turner. I sometimes like to have for my ball carrying piece. I also like to make them, if I get a double, pick up big hand. That allows them to pick up the ball in multiple tackle zones on a natural agility roll, which will be a 2+ for your agility 4. They can also pick up in pouring rain on a 2+. So many times the big hand gutter runner has come in useful, because you knock the ball loose with another gutter runner, which I'll cover in a second, and then the ball bounces around, drops into multiple tackle zones. You can dodge in there with your gutter runner, pick it up, dodge out, throw the ball to another gutter runner and score. Simple, done and dusted, you're winning the game. So that covers 2 of the gutter runners. The other 2, I would give them wrestle rather than block, and then develop one as wrestle tackle, the other one as wrestle strip ball, and then get 2 heads for your strip baller, because they're going to be cage diving if you can get it, and then dauntless on both pieces. That allows you to block against strength 3 and even strength 4 pieces on an even footing. And then you'll end up having 1 ball hawk, maybe 2 ball hawks, a ball carrier and a 1 turner. If you get agility up opportunity, then definitely take them on any of the gutter runners, especially your ball carrying gutter runner, or your strip ball hawk gutter runner. A strength up again on your either your ball carrying or your ball handling, or your strip ball cage diving gutter runner, especially useful, but useful on any of them. And then for your lineman, kick, and then a mix of dirty player and block or wrestle. Okay, cheaters and such. The Goblin team, Max Adams. Okay, so we've got a very full roster. This is good. So we've got the 2 trolls. Both have taken guard. Both are sitting at 8 and 9 SPP respectively. We have the Looney that has leveled. That's good. Took dirty player. So that's obviously he's going to be using him for a lot for fouling. Good strategy. Chainsaws are amazing for that, because they add a +3 plus your dirty player, which adds another +1, so +4. So if the Looney by himself doesn't even need to have any assists, and he's already going to injure AV7 piece very, very easily, even an AV8 or an AV9. Maybe get an assist or 2 for those. We have a ton of goblins, 3 of them close to leveling. They're 1 SPP away, so they must have got MVPs. We have 1 goblin that has leveled. He took sidestep. We have Pogoer, who hasn't leveled yet. He's a touchdown away, so maybe just get him a touchdown. And then we have another 2 goblins. We've got 4 team rerolls. We've got 2 fan factor. We haven't got an apothecary. We've got 100k in the bank, and we've got relatively high TV value. That's because you've got so many players and they've actually leveled. So 11-20. You're doing good. I don't see any holes, anything that could be improved. It's all good, looking good to me. Then we have the Castlevania Creeps. Rainbow Gecko's been having a little bit of a hard time this season, not getting off to the start he'd like. Ran with 2 vampire builds, had 4 rerolls, a lot of thralls, and it doesn't seem to have worked out as well as he'd hoped. So we have these 2 vampires. One has taken pro, the other one has taken block. The one that has pro also has an AV bust. We have a number of thralls that are leveled. One has got kick, 2 have wrestle, and 1 has block. Hoping for better games and better luck ahead of you. But definitely I would think about saving up and getting another vamp. I don't think you need any more thralls. So maybe just save your money. You're close to it right now. In fact, I think you can afford another vampire. So maybe just bite the bullet and do that. So you'll have 3, and then start saving for a 4th. Thunderstrike, the Chaos Dwarf team, coached by Wolframajax. Time to ride the lightning. So let's have a look at the Thunderstrike team. So this is a fairly solid build. We have the 2 Bull Centaurs, haven't leveled yet. We have the 6 blockers. 2 have leveled, they both taken guard. We don't have, of all the Bull Centaurs and the blockers, we don't have anyone that's close to leveling. Maybe this Chaos Dwarf blocker, if he can get 3 injuries or 2 touchdowns, he can level. We also have this Hobgoblin, who is again 2 touchdowns or 6 SPP away from leveling, and then we have another 2 goblins, that haven't leveled yet. Currently sitting at 11 player team, only 30k in the bank, so there's not enough money to get another Hobgoblin. Average TV value 1150. 3 team rerolls, so you probably spent some of your cash on a team reroll, which is a good choice, and then an apothecary. As I said, solid team, not seen as much development, but these 2 guard pieces will do you well. And then if you can start on playing a low AV team like Skaven or Norse, this Hobgoblin can really be brought to bear. I've had games as Chaos Dwarfs where I won the game just by going absolutely nuts with fouling. I was actually losing. I was playing Norse and I was losing a game, and I knew I was going to lose, and I was just like, oh, screw it, I'm going to foul, I'm just going to have some fun, and ended up almost pitch clearing and winning, and it was pretty much solely on the weight of the Hobgoblin I had doing the putting the boot in and getting the pieces taken off of the board, off the pitch, which allowed my blockers to really sort of consolidate and start causing the injuries, and it all snowballed. I ended up winning the game, ended up almost pitch clearing, and completely turned around by this one crazy foul hungry Hobgoblin. So this is probably going to be a good piece for you. The Big Bad Baby Eaters, another Chorf team, started right next to the other Chaos Dwarf team. So the Big Bad Baby Eaters, coached by Fizzle P. This team has a little bit more development, I think. So we have the 2 Bull Centaurs, both have break tackle, one has sure hands. We have the 6 blockers, 1 with guard. We actually have a number of blockers that are close to leveling. This one actually has leveled, he hasn't taken the level yet, so bloody socks. So I definitely would take that level, and hopefully it's a good one, maybe a double. You can get claw. We also have a number, in this upcoming match, we have a number of blockers that are going to level soon, so that'd be great. You can either go for guard, or you can go for mighty blow and just really accelerate their leveling. And then we have a number of hobgoblins. Again, one hobgoblin has taken the dirty player skill. We have one hobgoblin out. We have a total of a 12-man team. So you've got that one extra piece to sit on the bench. 2 team rerolls, so that's where he's a little bit deficient compared to the last team we looked at. 2 team rerolls, 1 apothecary, but 150k in the bank, so you can actually get a bit more of a bench, or you could actually spend the money and get that 3rd team reroll. I've got a feeling though that he's holding on to some money just in case one of the blockers, or God forbid one of the bull centers dies, or gets a career-ending injury. Again, relatively good team value, 1170. He's probably not going to be giving out much inducement cash, or if at all. Might even be receiving some in the upcoming matches. So this is good. This is a good team. The Dolgan Lions. Chaos team. This one seems to be struck by a few injuries. So we have one out. It looks like it might be a miss next game. No, it's a niggling. Okay, so we have the one out with niggling. We have another one with agility bust. He's actually going to be in the next game, but he is agility busted, so that limits his development a little bit. You're not going to be going for a ball carrying beastman, so he's developed this one as a kill piece or a support piece. We only have 3 Chaos Warriors, so that's interesting. Not sure if you started with 3 or if one has died along the way. None of them have leveled yet, although this one, Matthew Stabford, is close to leveling. He's just 1 SPP away. We have this Minotaur that hasn't leveled yet either, and then we have another 3 Beastmen. One of them has leveled, and he has taken the extra arm. So this is going to be your ball carrying piece. Might want to get sure hands for him next. Good for picking up the ball, but also good for protecting against strip ball. And then we have another Beastman that's close to leveling, just a touchdown away. So we've got 2 Beastmen in this next game that could level up. Well, actually 3. This one's at 5 of 6. Yeah. A little bit more developed than the last Chaos team we looked at, but still not that developed. So you just really need to get a focus on getting the SPP where you need it. This first season for you guys, I would say that I put it on an even keel with getting the wins in the games. If you can get the wins in the games and get the SPP, then that's great. But you definitely want to be finishing this season with a nicely developed team, so you can remain competitive in future seasons. Really nice low team value though, so it's 970. So playing a lot of these teams in this division right now, you're going to be left with some nice inducement cash, so you can probably afford to get a bribe or some babes, or maybe even if it's a good TV differential for you, end up getting a wizard or a star player, like a secret weapon star player. Only 2 team rerolls and no apothecary, so that's where you're a little bit stunted in your development, along with a lot of the team development, but you are going to be missing at some point that team reroll. There's going to come a time where you're just going to be like, oh, I wish I had an extra team reroll. Best of luck to you, but yeah, definitely need to focus on getting that SPP in and getting some levels in. Things become so much easier once you start leveling your Chaos team. The Austin Knights human team, and we're seeing some nice development on this team. So we have of the 4 blitzers, we have 2 who've taken guard. As soon as one of these develops, I would take Mighty Blow, just so you can catch up SPP wise on the other 2. It's also nice to have a Mighty Blow piece just to get some removals in. You have your Ogre, who has taken guard as well, so you looks like you're really sort of going for guard across the board. That is a very solid choice. I'm not a big human coach, but I understand the logic behind this, and I've heard good human coaches before saying that the guard is a godsend on the human team. So definitely applaud you for taking that. But just so that these blitzes can catch up to the other two, I would definitely consider giving them the mighty blow. We have the thrower who's taken block, nice and solid, keeping him safe. But you also do want to consider taking some passing skills just to make him a proficient passer, and just to really sort of help give your catcher a good role. We have a lineman who's taken Dauntless. Might be nice against teams with, like Orc teams or Chaos teams where they have a number of strength 4 pieces. We have the catcher who is blodge and catch. So this is going to be your main receiver. You should be able to level him pretty quickly. Just keep him safe, and then he can be this superstar receiver who is going to be your SPP hog. Then we have 2 linemen without any levels, and we have 1 lineman that's out for the count right now. Then we have 4 team rerolls and 1 apothecary, 50k in the bank, and as I said, an average TV value at 1160. And then coming to the last team, the Holy Grails, the Bretonnian team, fresh last week. And so Abnormal, I think I mispronounced this before. I can't remember what I said before, but I'm now seeing it. It's Abnormal 43. So Abnormal 43, Holy Grails. I love Bretonnian teams. You've got off to a great start. I think that might have been a friendly match or something along those lines. Anyway, so the Holy Grails 2-1 win over Cheaters and such. It was a Goblin team, but still, a win's a win. And we have the 3 blitzers yet to level. As I said, he's only played the 1 game, but we have 1 blitzer that's close to leveling, and then we have another one that's a touchdown away. So basically, these 2 are close to leveling. Then we have 1 blocker who's out injured right now. Has he got a niggling or just a miss next game? It's a niggling. Okay, that's a problem. We have 3 other blockers who haven't had any development. We've got 3 peasants, one of which is close to leveling, is just 1 SPP away. And then we have another lineman is movement busted. So he has 2 SPP, he's out next match. As I said, one game played, so not surprising that there is 0 development on this team. But you already have a win, 1 game played, already have a win. Just focus on developing your team for the rest of the season. Maybe you'll even clinch a playoff spot. But I think starting this late and being that many games behind, I think you're like 4 games behind, or 4 losses already. I would just focus on developing this team, making sure that this is a kick-ass Bretonnian team for your second season. Best of luck to you. So that concludes the coverage for Divisions 5F and 5G for weeks 4 and 5. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and I aim to bring you an episode next week. And next week's episode, because we're going to be covering less, I'm going to actually have a little bit more time to give you things like highlight matches, maybe a highlight reel. Maybe I'll cover a game for each division in full with commentary. I haven't quite decided which. If you have any tips or suggestions or comments or criticisms, please shoot them to me on Discord or on Reddit, on the Rebel subreddit, or even on YouTube when you're viewing this video. Love to hear any comments, any feedback, any suggestions, anything you'd like to see in future episodes, or anything you think I messed up. Give me a hard time. I'd love to hear it. Okay, that's all from me. And remember, there's scoring and then there's Callisti scoring.